You wake up, and the first thing you feel is your tongue sticking to the roof of your mouth. Your lips are cracked. Your throat feels like sandpaper. You reach for water before you even open your eyes. And then, like every other morning, you think to yourself, I just didn't drink enough water yesterday. And you move on. But here's what nobody tells you. That dry mouth you wake up with every single morning, it might not be about hydration at all. It could be your body trying to tell you something far more serious, something that most people ignore for years until they can't anymore. Think about how many symptoms we normalize. The fatigue we blame on busy schedules. The headaches we blame on screens. The weight we can't seem to lose no matter what we do. We become experts at explaining away the signals our body sends us. And dry mouth is one of the most dismissed symptoms in modern medicine. Millions of people wake up with it every single day. They drink their water, they brush their teeth, they go about their lives, and yet, underneath that simple, easy-to-ignore discomfort, something may already be happening inside their body. Something quiet, something slow, something that doesn't announce itself with dramatic pain. The scariest health problems rarely do. Here's what most people never realize. Your mouth is not just where food enters your body. It's a window into your internal health, one of the most sensitive diagnostic surfaces you carry with you every single day. Changes in your saliva, your breath, the moisture in your mouth, these aren't random. They are responses. Your body is reacting to something, and waking up dry every single morning is one of those responses. The question is, what is it responding to? That's exactly what we're going to find out today. And I want to warn you, some of what I'm about to share will surprise you. Some of it may make you uncomfortable, but all of it could genuinely change the way you care for yourself. Let's start with something most people never think about. Saliva. We take it for granted completely, but your saliva is doing something remarkable every single second. It's washing bacteria off your teeth. It's neutralizing acids that would otherwise eat through your enamel. It's beginning the digestion of everything you eat. It's carrying immune proteins that protect you from infection. It's literally a living, working fluid, engineered by your body to protect you. And at night, while you sleep, saliva production naturally slows down. That's completely normal. But here's where things become important. If you wake up and your mouth feels severely dry, not just slightly, but paper dry, cracked lip dry, desperate for water dry, your salivary glands may not be functioning the way they should. Or something else in your body is interfering with them. There's a medical term for this, xerostomia. It means chronic dry mouth, a persistent reduction in saliva that goes beyond just sleeping with your mouth open. And the causes behind it? They form a list that should make every one of us pay closer attention. Let's talk about what's actually behind that dry mouth, because I think you may be surprised. The first cause, and one of the most overlooked, sleep apnea. This is where things get genuinely alarming. Sleep apnea is a condition where your airway partially or fully collapses during sleep. You stop breathing, sometimes dozens of times a night. Your body jolts you just enough to restart breathing, but not enough to fully wake you. And most people with sleep apnea have absolutely no idea they have it. They just know they're tired. They just know they wake up with a dry mouth. They just know they never feel truly rested. Have you ever woken up exhausted after 8 full hours of sleep? That's not just stress. That's not just getting older. That could be your airway collapsing on you while you sleep. And the dry mouth? That's from breathing through your mouth all night, because your body can't get enough air through your nose. Sleep apnea is linked to heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, and depression. And for millions of people, their first and only symptom is waking up dry. The second cause, and this one affects far more people than they realize, blood sugar dysregulation. Here's the connection that most people miss entirely. When your blood sugar is elevated, whether you're diabetic, pre-diabetic, or simply eating in a way that spikes your glucose, your kidneys begin working overtime to flush that excess sugar out. To do that, they pull water, lots of it. And that water has to come from somewhere. It comes from your tissues, your cells, your salivary glands. The result? You wake up dehydrated at a cellular level. Even if you drank plenty of water the night before, your mouth is dry, you're thirsty, you're exhausted, and here's the painful part. Millions of people are in a pre-diabetic state right now and don't know it. The American Diabetes Association estimates that over 80% of people with prediabetes are unaware of their condition. That dry mouth every morning? For some people, it is the earliest warning sign their body can give, and it goes ignored for years. The third cause, and this one lives in your medicine cabinet. Over 400 commonly prescribed medications list dry mouth as a side effect. Antihistamines, antidepressants, blood pressure medications, bladder medications, even certain pain relievers. We take these medications because we need them, but their effect on saliva is rarely explained clearly. And when your saliva is consistently reduced, the damage inside your mouth is not just discomfort, it's accelerated tooth decay, gum disease, and oral infections. Your dentist can often tell which medications you're on just by looking at your teeth. That's how visible the damage becomes over time. Nobody talks about this part, but it's happening quietly, every single night, in millions of bedrooms. I want to tell you about someone. His name was David. He was 52. He was a project manager, busy, responsible, always pushing through. Every morning for 3 years, David woke up with a dry, sticky mouth. He kept a glass of water by his bed. He drank it every morning before he could even speak properly. His wife noticed he snored. She mentioned it. He laughed it off. He felt tired, but he told himself, that's just life after 50. He was carrying extra weight around his midsection. But again, just life. His doctor ran routine blood work. His fasting glucose was a little elevated, but not technically diabetic. We'll watch it, the doctor said. And they watched, and David kept waking up dry. Until one afternoon at work, David had a transient ischemic attack, a mini stroke. He recovered. He was lucky. And in the hospital, his doctors discovered severe obstructive sleep apnea, prediabetes that had progressed, and cardiovascular strain that had been building silently for years. 3 years of dry mornings. 3 years of, I'll deal with it later. David said something that stayed with me. He said, my body was waving a flag every single morning. I just thought it was asking for water. I'm not sharing this story to frighten you. I'm sharing it because David's story is not rare. It's happening in variations every single day, and the people it happens to almost always say the same thing afterward. I knew something was off. I just didn't think it was serious. There's another cause of chronic dry mouth that doctors sometimes miss, especially in women. It's called Sjögren syndrome. Sjögren's is an autoimmune condition where your immune system mistakenly attacks the glands that produce moisture, including your salivary glands and tear ducts. The result is persistent dry mouth, dry eyes, fatigue, and joint pain. It's estimated that around 4 million Americans have Sjögren's, and the average time from first symptom to diagnosis? Nearly 3 years. 3 years of waking up dry. 3 years of thinking, I'm just tired, I'm just stressed, I'm just getting older. 3 years of a body sending the same quiet signal. If you wake up with dry mouth and also notice persistent dry, gritty eyes, unusual fatigue, joint stiffness, difficulty swallowing dry foods, that combination matters. That's a pattern worth discussing with a doctor. Not tomorrow, not next month, soon. Here's something I want you to really sit with for a moment. The damage from chronic dry mouth doesn't happen dramatically. It happens in millimeters, in tiny shifts that you can't see or feel, until suddenly you can. Without adequate saliva, the bacteria in your mouth multiply faster. The acids they produce sit on your teeth longer. Your gum tissue becomes more vulnerable to infection. The pH of your mouth drops, and enamel, once lost, never comes back. Dentists call this pattern rampant caries, rapid, widespread tooth decay. And they see it in people who never eat junk food, brush twice a day, and genuinely take care of their teeth, because they don't realize their dry mouth is undoing everything. And beyond your mouth? Chronic dry mouth can affect your digestion because digestion begins with saliva. It can affect your sleep quality. It can affect your ability to taste food properly. It can affect your confidence, the way you speak, whether you feel comfortable kissing someone, whether you feel like yourself. These are not small things. These are the quiet erosions of daily life that steal comfort from us, year by year, morning by morning. Can I ask you something? And I want you to really answer this honestly, even just to yourself. How long have you been waking up like this? How many mornings have you reached for that glass of water before you even remembered what day it was? How many times have you thought, I should probably get that checked? And then life happened. The kids needed breakfast. The commute started. The inbox was full. And the dry mouth got filed away under things to deal with later. I understand that completely. We are all managing so much. Our health becomes the thing we'll handle after everything else. And that's exactly how silent conditions stay silent. Not because we don't care, because we're tired, because we're busy, because the warning signs don't hurt enough to demand our immediate attention until they do. And by then, we're sitting in a doctor's office wondering why we didn't come sooner. You are not weak for having missed this. You are human, but you're watching this today. And that matters. Let's talk about what you can actually do. Because knowledge without action is just anxiety. And I don't want to leave you afraid. I want to leave you equipped. First, take the symptom seriously enough to name it. When you see your doctor, say the words, I wake up with significant dry mouth every morning. I want to understand why. Don't minimize it. Don't say, I've been a little dry lately. Describe it accurately. How dry? How long? What other symptoms come with it? Your doctor may want to review your current medications for dry mouth side effects. Check your blood glucose levels. Ask about snoring, sleep quality, daytime fatigue. Assess your thyroid function, because an underactive thyroid can also reduce saliva. Consider testing for autoimmune markers if the pattern fits. And if you snore, if your partner says you stop breathing at night, if you wake up exhausted despite sleeping long hours, ask specifically for a sleep study. Sleep apnea is vastly underdiagnosed, and the treatment, usually a CPAP device or a repositioning mouthguard, can be genuinely life-changing. People who finally get treated for sleep apnea often describe it as like waking up for the first time in years. Second, support your saliva naturally. While you're investigating the underlying cause, stay consistently hydrated throughout the day, not just in the morning. Breathe through your nose during the day. It trains healthier breathing patterns at night. Avoid alcohol and caffeine close to bedtime. Both reduce saliva production. Consider a humidifier in your bedroom. Dry air dramatically worsens nighttime dry mouth. Chew sugar-free gum with xylitol. It stimulates saliva and has antimicrobial properties. Sleep on your side rather than your back. This naturally reduces mouth breathing. These aren't cures, but they are acts of kindness toward a body that is trying its best. I want to tell you about something that happens when people finally address this. When someone gets diagnosed with sleep apnea and starts treatment, the first morning they wake up without a dry mouth is often one they remember. Not because it's dramatic, but because they suddenly realize, oh, this is what rested feels like. They didn't know they'd forgotten. When someone with prediabetes adjusts their diet, starts walking, stabilizes their blood sugar, the dry morning mouth quietly disappears, and they feel something they can't quite name at first, until they realize its clarity. Their body has stopped sending the distress signal, because the thing causing the distress has been addressed. That moment, that morning, is available to you. Not as a guarantee. Bodies are complex and individual, but as a real, human possibility. The path from waking up depleted and dry to waking up comfortable, rested, and whole often begins with one simple decision: to take the signal seriously. Your body is not your enemy. It has never been your enemy. Every symptom, every uncomfortable signal is an act of loyalty. Your body is trying to protect you. It is working constantly, quietly, faithfully. even when you've been too busy to listen. That dry mouth every morning? It is not a nuisance. It is a conversation. And for the first time, maybe, you're actually listening. That matters more than you know. Because the people who change their health, the ones who catch things early, who live longer and better, they're not superhuman. They're just the ones who decided to take their own body seriously. One symptom at a time. One morning at a time. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. You are simply someone who just learned something important. And what you do next, that's entirely yours. If you've been waking up with dry mouth and you've never really looked into why, I genuinely hope this gave you something to think about, not to frighten you, but to remind you that your health is worth a conversation with your doctor, worth a question you haven't asked yet, worth the 20-minute appointment you've been postponing. You deserve to wake up well. Tell me in the comments, how long have you been waking up with a dry mouth? Did anything in this video surprise you? And if someone you love might need to hear this, please share it with them today. It might be the most important thing they watch this week.